I think there were many reasons why it was kind of the big gap of Japanese women still believing that skinny and thin is beautiful. Are still focused on very thin and skinny, still looking at calories versus nutrition. And that it is probably kind of more important to focus on what we put on our mouth and how we live our lives is gonna have the ultimate benefit for beauty. Moving from being thin to healthy beauty. Talking on count that everyone is a very different beauty in terms of weight and terms of size look. I have noticed that Japanese women are getting thinner and thinner. There is also so much information about different diets and overwhelming and confusing. I think a balance of how our grandmothers used to cook. And I think if that was continued, if we were cut off the Western food, convenience stores food, fast food, snacks, there are perhaps it is not quite as safe as it seems in terms of things like the different additives, preservatives, emulsifiers, things like silicones or pesticides. The important thing is what not to eat, not just what to eat. We remind us of the virtues of a traditional Japanese diet, changes seasonally, increasing the long life hormones Adiponectin, which is linked to longevity, have some fermented food in there. We wouldn't need a lot of doctors anymore because if we looked at the whole idea of preventative medicine is through the diet, exercise, lifestyle, and sleep, is addressing all of these things to prevent lifestyle diseases. But if we look traditionally at Japan, why it had such low rate of all these different diseases in 50s, 60s, starting changes from 17 and 18. It was a sum of 10 times less than the US, less than the Europe. It is increasing rapidly from diabetes to cancer, heart diseases, but we didn't need all of these stuff because the base was incredibly healthy. Food is the most powerful form of medicine. When we look at the traditional Japanese diet of having this balance of carbohydrates, proteins, fats, and also colorful vegetables, we don't have the diet like this anywhere else in the world. That combined has such a powerful impact on our hormones. Everything from the eating style, we will find that the first things that will come out will fish, tofu, soybeans. The rest of things that comes out would be carbohydrates, kind of noodles or rice. And this balance is perfect for hormones and keeping a healthy balanced weight and for decreasing insulin levels. There is a focus now on the microintestinal environment, or the microbiota, or microbiome. The microbiome affected everything from our thoughts to our mood to our concentration to preventing different diseases like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's. Japanese food naturally has a lot of their fermented foods. The traditional Japanese diet really increased these adiponectin hormones, which is linked to longevity. And then we always have some fermented food in there. When we come back to the basic of how our grandmother cooked, there was always a miso soup, rice at the base. To cook that every day, it is a huge amount of time and effort and work. It has the impact on our different hormones. It is an insurance. It is an impact on an amazing hormone called Adiponectin, which is linked to a very long life. Lifestyles, nutrition, and lack of inefficient exercise to control body weight is making the global population more susceptible to obesity. Food with high sugar and carbohydrate contents are in general cheaper and more readily available for the current busy lives. These factors contributed to a widespread epidemics of overweight and obesity, metabolic disorders, characterized by the accumulation of peripheral and visceral adipose tissues. Obesity is a well-established risk factor for a number of other chronic disorders, including type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, arthritis, and some types of cancers. More recent attention has been drawn to the impact of obesity on central nervous system functioning, as growing evidence indicated that the obese population are more susceptible to some neurological conditions. Overweight, central obesity during midlife have been associated with a higher risk of developing cognitive disorders, including Alzheimer's disease, later in life. In addition, overweight and obese individuals are at higher risks for developing the mood disorder, such as major depression disorder and bipolar disorders. A protein hormones are produced and circulated exclusively by adipocyte fat cells that regulated metabolism of lipids and glucose. Adiponectin influences the body response to insulin. Adiponectin also has anti-inflammatory effect on the cells lining the walls of the blood vessels. High blood vessels of adiponectin are associated with a reduced risk of heart attacks. Low levels of adiponectin are found in people who are obese and who are at increased risk of the heart attack. Adipocytes produce and secrete a number of proteins, including leptin, adipocyte propellants, and the tumor necrosis factor. Research suggested that moderate exercise, at least 3 times a week, can increase our adiponectin levels significantly. The resulting elevation in adiponectin levels occurs for 24 to 72 hours, which explains our inspiration to suggest walking at least 3 times per week as a part of the hormone boost workout.